Hi, this is Bill Messick from MessickStove on YouTube and MessickStove.com. This is part 2 of the creosote dry out of your stovepipe and your chimney system. And the first one was a little lengthy, a little long, but I wanted to educate people in the process of what we're doing. The stove now, the Energy DS machine EnergyMax 160, is now into a stage of needing to be reloaded. In other words, there's just hot coals in there, and I would like to take the camera over there and show you that, but what's going to happen here, I'm going to probably make a bunch of noise moving it, and it's just going to be really loud coming through the speaker here on your computer. So what I'll do is I'm going to walk over there in a few minutes and open the stove damper at the top. Okay, open up the ash door a little bit, and then I'm going to open the loading door. I don't have to open the ash door at this point, but I'm just going to do it just for demonstration purposes here. I normally don't do it. I just open up the loading door, throw the wood in it, and walk away. I set my dial. So this is the process I'm going to do it, and I just want you to see that. And then once it gets going, I'm going to talk a little bit about it, why it's burning, and pretty much that will be it. Other than that, this is once I get over to the stove, it's going to be a little difficult for me to talk to you, because it's going to be kind of I thought pretty loud to get to the information. So I'm going to go over and take some temperatures and try to broadcast that over to the camera here so you can hear it, and then I'll do the process. Okay, here we go. The stove temperature right now is about 325 degrees. And I'm going to take a temperature on the stove pipe. The stove pipe is about 113 at this point. 119 up here. We're hitting about 115 on the exhaust pipe at the top. Okay, and so the stove is about what did I say, about 325 or what it was, and then the stovepipe's at 120, and at the top of the stovepipe's about 115, 110. So there's the process. I'm going to go ahead and load that up now, and kind of watch what I'm doing. It's pretty much a really easy process. It's just after you do this, it's pretty much just sit back and let the stove run its course. I'm opening the stove damper at the top. I'm going to pull it straight out. Now that's allowing my heat to go straight out through the stove pipe and into the chimney. With this closed, the stove damper closed, it forces the heat to go over a wall, which I explained in my other videos, and down to the bottom of the stove, back up, and over the ceiling and out. So the stove robs a lot of heat off of the exhaust. So by doing this, we're going to raise the stove temperature up a little bit when we load it. We're also going to raise the temperature of the stovepipe and chimney system, which is the most important part, so we can heat the creosote up to the point that it can dry out. Okay? I'm going to open the ash door at this time. You don't have to do this process, but I do, just for showing you purposes. Open up the loading door. I got some hot coals in there. If you like, you can take your poker, move some of the hot coals around, spread it around a little bit, leave your ash in there. Then take a log, drop it in, take another log, drop it in, take another log, drop that in. I'll close the loading door. I'm going to dial up my DS regulator, stove regulator on the side. I'm going to leave the ash door open a little bit. Like you probably noticed, you're probably seeing some flames come up. I want to get the temperatures for the stove again. We're at about 320. 140 already. 125. You can probably hear a nice solid draft going through there right now. With the air sucking through there, you can see the flames coming up. It's a real good draft. Now you don't have to leave the ash door open, which I'm not going to. I'm going to close that down here in a little bit because I want it to, the regulator to control the temperature of the fire, okay? Now, you notice it got a little quieter there. You don't hear the roaring of the air being sucked through there. Now you can temporarily do that to get the draft going really nice and really good. Now you can see the flames coming up. And I just want to read some temperatures real quick. As you can see, you can probably even hear the pipe ting a little bit where it's expanding, the steel's expanding, where it's getting hot. So the stove is now up to 400 degrees, okay? Now our exhaust jumped about 260. It's about 222 up top, okay? Remember, the temperatures that we're reading at the bottom, or I'm reading right above the little steam pot there, is going to be extra hot anyway because it's the radiant heat from the stove as well as the heat being transferred through the steel of the stove into the steel pipe. So just want to give you a little update here. It's like it's been about 5 minutes. That temperature will continue to climb, okay, within the next 5-10 minutes or so, even 15 minutes. It will peak and then the wood will actually come back down back to a hot coals. Okay, remember this is just a creosote dry out of the stove pipe and your chimney system. And like I said, we are not trying to force a chimney fire here. Okay, now I do recommend for those out there that's not familiar with this process or has not done it, or you might have heard people who just run their stoves really hot and dry out. Well, that's fine. With the stove damper, we have to keep that open to get the temperatures up to leave here on the EnergyMax 160. So it's been a total of 20 minutes now since we started the creosote dry out process, and the video, I've been stopping the video off and on here to save some time basically. So I'm going to read some temperatures here in a little bit, and at the way it looks now, I could probably even throw another log or two in there to bring the temperature up even higher than what it is now for the exhaust, and that wouldn't be a bad idea to do that. This case here, I really don't have to do that right now, but if this was, you know, a real process, which it is the real process, but if we were doing, I want to take a little more time, I could go ahead and do that. So we don't have to do that now, but that would be recommended, looking at the temperatures on the stove and the stovepipe. So you have to know your own stove and your own chimney system and the combination of how they work together. You get used to running your own system. You know the ins and outs of it. It's, you know, it's that important to understand your stove and how it operates and what you're doing, and when you change your wood, you know what happens too. And knowing my stove and my system now, that I could throw another 2 logs in there and be fine and walk away and still not have any issues or any problems or any concerns about any safety. So let me read some temperatures for you real quick. The stove now is hitting 500 degrees, okay, which is good. And we'll check the exhaust now. Putting about 260 down here. And we're getting about 230, almost 230 on the top. And so, like I said, that's still kind of low. It's still in a safe zone, but this is also still drying out the creosote. It's 40 minutes now since I started the creosote dry out process, and you can still see some flames in there. The stove temperature is a little higher, or about the same as probably the last reading, maybe a little higher, about the same. And the exhaust temperature is coming down a little bit. So I want to shoot that for you real quick. And basically at this point, when it comes down a little further, the temperature of the exhaust comes down a little more, gets it down to a normal process, you know, maybe like 150, somewhere in that range, 115, 150. Reload the stove, close the stove damper, and you got a good running stove. It's if you're going to clean, if you do clean your own chimney system and your own stove pipes, and this will be a good process to do prior to doing your cleaning. Okay. In other words, do this process. In some cases, I've actually, this only takes like 45 minutes to an hour. If you do this daily, once a day, every other day, I do it once a day, sometimes every couple of days, once a week, depending on the process and how much wood you're burning, you'll know your system and when you should be doing it. Just keep doing it. You can do it on every day, it would be fine. An hour a day, you know, just let it go up there. It'll dry it out. It'll allow you, when you go to clean it, it will actually come out a lot easier. So let me read some temperatures for you. It's about 460. Temperatures did come down a little bit. About 188. About 186 on the top. So, like I said, these temperatures are coming back down now, and like I told you a little earlier, there was that I could have easily thrown another couple of logs in there and get the temperature a little hotter and a little higher. It makes it dries out even more. And there's cases where, like if I'm doing this on a weekend or a day that I happen to be around, and I haven't had time to, you know, maintain it, clean it as much as I want it to, or whatever, that I can actually do this whole process like a half a day. I mean, I could do it for like 4 hours. And now if you're going at the end of the season, when my season starts to end here, my burning season, and I'm getting ready to clean it and be done with it and take care of it and have it ready for next season, is that I'll actually go ahead and run this a good half a day and get those temperatures. The stove temperatures will be closer to 600 degrees, and exhaust probably a little more 3, even 4.